Hey everybody! In today's video, I'm going to talk about the most common pronunciation mistakes made by English learners from different countries or language backgrounds. This video is not meant to offend anybody. We all make pronunciation mistakes when we speak foreign languages. I hope that this video will motivate you to identify your pronunciation mistakes and correct them. Before we start, remember to sign up for our $1 English pronunciation seminars at polyglossa.com, and remember to download our free Listening Time podcast so you can practice your listening skills. So, as an English teacher, I've had the opportunity to teach students from over 80 different countries. Over the years, I've been able to recognize many pronunciation mistakes that are common among students from different language backgrounds. Let me share some of those examples with you. First, let's talk about Russian speakers. One of the most common pronunciation mistakes made by Russian speakers is with the letter O. In English, when the letter O is stressed, it usually has one of two sounds. It's either ah or O. Russian speakers often have trouble with this second sound. Instead of saying O, they say For example, instead of saying Mexico, they might say Mexica. And instead of saying Chicago, they might say Chicago. If you make this mistake, that's okay. You just need to focus on getting the W sound at the end of the syllable. O. Okay, next, let's talk about Italian speakers. One of the most common mistakes that Italian speakers make is with words that start with vowels, especially the letter A. They often add an H sound before the vowel. For example, if they want to say the word air, they might say hair. Or when they want to say the word eight, they might say hate. This can cause a lot of confusion, of course. If you make this mistake, don't worry. You just need to focus on stopping the air in your throat before you start the syllable. Alright, next let's talk about Spanish speakers. One of the most common pronunciation mistakes that Spanish speakers make is with long vowels. In English, long vowels are pronounced with a W or Y sound at the end of the vowel. For example, let's look at the word food. This word has a long vowel, oo. It has two sounds because there's a W sound at the end, ooh. But Spanish speakers often pronounce this word without the W sound. Instead of food, they might say food. If you make this mistake, no worries. You just need to focus on getting the W or Y sound at the end of long vowels. Alright, next let's talk about Portuguese speakers. One of the most common pronunciation mistakes that Portuguese speakers make is with ED endings. They often add an extra syllable when there shouldn't be one, and they remove a syllable when there should be one. For example, instead of saying watched, they might say watched. They might add this extra syllable. Or instead of saying needed, they might just say need. They remove this syllable at the end. If you make this kind of mistake, that's okay. You just need to focus on listening to native speakers when they say words in the past tense. You'll start to hear how different ED endings are pronounced. So, how about Chinese speakers? One of the most common pronunciation mistakes that Chinese speakers make is skipping over unstressed syllables in certain words. For example, instead of saying celebrate, they might say celebrate. When native speakers say this word, the second E is unstressed, but it still has a short sound. It sounds like celebrate. But Chinese speakers often skip this sound completely. If you make this mistake, that's okay. Just focus on identifying these unstressed syllables when you're listening, and you'll start to hear and pronounce them more clearly. Okay, lastly, let's talk about Vietnamese speakers. One of the most common pronunciation mistakes that Vietnamese speakers make is with words that end with consonants. If I'm not mistaken, in the Vietnamese language, words can only end with certain consonants, so these speakers sometimes have trouble with English words that end with other consonants. For example, when they say a plural word like hats, they might say it without the S at the end, just hat. Of course, this can cause confusion during conversations. If you make this mistake, don't worry. Just focus on listening to native speakers as they pronounce these words and really focus on those final consonant sounds. Okay, hopefully this video was interesting for you. If I didn't include your country on the list and you want to know one of the most common pronunciation mistakes from there, let me know in a comment down below. And of course, if you want to improve your pronunciation, join our $1 English pronunciation seminars at polyglossa.com and also download our free listening time podcast so you can practice your listening skills. Also, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell, and follow us on Instagram. I'll see you next time.